What's up, guys? 2023 platform here. It's a 2022 factory edition, but same thing as a 23. So I'm going to show you real quick how to change the oil. Super simple and easy. I'm sure I forgot something here, but I know at least you need 1.2 liters of cross power, 1050 or 1060, an oil filter, a drain pan, a rag, a 13, and an 8, and some pliers always help too. So let's get started. We can do this pretty quick. It doesn't have to be some big thing. I'm gonna start by taking the skid plate off. Okay guys, the skid plate's off, and before we start the oil draining, we're going to get the bike to operating temp because it drains out a little easier. Warm up the lithium battery with a quick hit of the starter. All right guys, I'm going to start by loosening both of these 13s and letting them drain. Yes, it's going to get all over the frame. There's not a whole lot you can do about it. This oil actually doesn't look that black. And this is the first change on this bike, so I'm really kind of keeping an eye on this oil. The bike has 4.8 hours on it, so I know some people are pretty crazy and will change their oil at 30 minutes the first time for break-in and all that stuff. I didn't want to do that. I did want to change it before 5 hours, and we got the 4.8. Bike's pretty level right now. So basically what I'm going to do is inspect this magnet, and it looks pretty stinking good. I'm going to wipe it off. I'm going to spray out this screen with some carb cleaner or some brake cleaner that does not swell O-rings. I'm going to get this clean. I'm going to let this drain for a minute. All right guys, now there's another drain under here, and it's kind of resembles an engine plug a little bit. You want to drain this one, but you do not want to take out this plug right here. Usually you get just a little bit out of this plug. That's about all you're gonna get out of there. So I'm gonna let all three of these just drain for a few minutes and then come back and wipe down the frame. Okay, now I'm gonna take out my oil filter, which is two 8mm right here. If for some reason you don't have an 8mm, you can also use your Torx on these. That's what's nice about the KTM hardware. You can use a Torx or a socket. Now when I get to this point, sometimes these covers will come right off. Sometimes I just grab them right like this, pull it off. And the oil filter, you can take some pliers and bring it out just like that. Generally put a rag in here, inspect it for metal shavings, just kind of let it soak up the oil that's in that compartment. Now if you get a KTM OEM service change kit, you'll be getting a new O-ring, you'll be getting a new filter screen, you'll be getting a lot of this stuff new. I think it's kind of overkill. It's maybe something you do every once in a while, but not every oil change on a moto bike. So I'm gonna go ahead and put the oil filter back in. The pros will tell you it's always a decent idea to fill the filter up with oil before you put it in. I'm not sure it matters, but I'm gonna just do it anyway because it's easy. Just kind of fill it up. And then put it back in there. No reason to go crazy with these bolts, guys. If you break them, it kind of ruins your day. And the worst case, it drips some oil and you tighten them up or you replace that O-ring. So just snug them up by hand. If you want to know a torque spec, you can look it up yourself, because I don't use torque specs for stuff like this. All right, guys, I've cleaned my screen, I've cleaned my magnet, so I'm going to put those back in. All right, now I've got the drain plug on the bottom. I'm gonna go ahead and put that back in. All right, all that's snug. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe any excess oil and dirt off my frame rail, because you normally can't get to this whenever you have your skid plate on. Now, this gives you a good idea of how much oil should have came out of your bike. This was empty when I drained it out, so about half a Folgers coffee can full of oil. So 1.2 is what this thing says it calls for. And I'll tell you this, on Japanese bikes, I do not recommend setting the oil level with the sight glass. It just doesn't work very good. The KTMs, it works a lot better, but I still find it unnecessary. Come off there. First time this has ever been off. It's unnecessary, guys. It's a single cylinder engine, so if you're burning oil, you're gonna see tons of smoke out the exhaust. If you're dripping oil, you're gonna see it on your garage floor. So, you know, if you drain it all out and you pour in the 1.2 that it takes, you know, that's all that's really necessary. You can use the sight glass to make sure you have oil in it, but don't let the sight glass psych you out into adding oil or draining oil or this or that all the time. Measure out the 1.2 or whatever it is and put that in it. Absolutely. That's what the rag's for, guys. It happens. All right, guys, so I've put in about 1 liter exactly. I'm at the very, very top of the sight glass. So I'm gonna bump it over a few times and just see where that puts me for fun. Guys, that brought me all the way down to the bottom of the sight glass. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in the 0.2 and we'll be good. All right, guys, that puts me right at 1.2. And I'm right at the top of the red circle in the sight glass. Let me give you a better look at it. I'm right at the top of the red circle, and that's probably even gonna go down to the middle of the red circle once I ride it a little while and spin everything over some more. So it's as simple as that, guys. It's really easy. Now all you have to do is put your skid plate back on and go rip. So very simple oil changes on these. Don't let them psych you out. 1.2 liters. You need an 8, a 13, pliers, and a rag, and a drain pan. Help a lot, man. Thanks so much for watching. If you guys appreciated this video, you can help me out by hitting the red subscribe, maybe hit the blue join and join the race team. You can buy all your oil change kits from AOMC. Just go to my description, click on the AOMC link for your parts, type in 450 SXF oil change kit. Everything you need will pop up, the motor X, the oil filter. You're good to go. See you guys in the next video.